I'm Millie, and in 2018, I stopped drinking alcohol because of the effect that it was having on my mental health. Now, when I stopped drinking, everyone told me, you're going to be so boring. But it turns out the last 4 years of my life have been the best and the most fun. So I started a series on TikTok to showcase all the fun things you can do outside of bars and clubs and prove that you can still have a good time even if you're not drinking. Most of the feedback has
Sober
been
Girl Society is a movement to provide women with ways to have fun without a cocktail in hand. Millie Gooch created the group to help more women enjoy life sober.
She talks about it on her social media pages and in her book, The Sober Girl Society Handbook, an empowering guide to living hangover-free. Millie joins us now to tell us more about it. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
There is a lot of peer pressure to have a drink when you're out with people. That shouldn't be a difficult thing to handle, I would think, but I think some people do find it difficult to handle. How do you handle it?
Yeah, I think it is really common, actually. I think one of the biggest things I always say is the hardest thing about stopping drinking for a lot of people is the reactions of other people. So I kind of really tackle it in a way of being really honest with my friends and family. So when I stopped drinking, I kind of got that peer pressure and I said, you know, actually, I'm really not enjoying drinking. I think it's really kind of making my mental health quite poor. I really want to stop and I'd really appreciate if you support me. And I find being honest sometimes is the best way to get around it.
I'm curious if something happened to make you just make that decision, or if you just decided, you know, like you said, my mental health is suffering, or did something actually happen when you were drunk one night?
Yeah, it wasn't just one thing, actually. I think it was a series of quite little things. So I kind of stopped drinking when I went to university, and it kind of went from there, really. And I was your typical party girl, binge drinker. So I was going out quite a lot, spending a lot of my weekends, you know, hungover and suffering from that hangover anxiety that quite a lot of us talk about these days. So for me, it was just kind of a lot of little moments that led up to that. And I just got to a point where I said, it's just enough. I think it's really affecting sort of my mental health and my physical health, my finances, and I kind of just really asked myself, like, why am I doing this? So I decided to stop, and 4.5 years later, here we are.
What is the advice for people who want to transition into being sober, or maybe just even to moderation? I would imagine there may be some missteps along the way.
Yeah, I think get support. I mean, there's some fantastic organisations out there. You only need to look on Instagram these days. There's so many amazing things, podcasts, books, whatever you kind of relate to, there will be something out there for you. I think the other big thing I always say to people is tackle it from 2 angles. So there's this idea that a lot of us either drink to have fun or drink to kind of reduce pain and stress. So find other ways to relax, find things that you enjoy doing that aren't necessarily alcohol, and kind of tackle it from that way.
I saw a post on your Instagram page. I want to read it real quick. When someone took you up, when you took up random hobbies in early sobriety, and now you're a salsa dancing botanist who can read birth charts and crochet. Did you find that you found interesting hobbies right away, or did it take a while?
I think I did it straight away, actually, because I think all of a sudden you're so used to, you know, alcohol is your default for fun, going out to bars and clubs. And then really you're kind of left with all this time, and you have to really go back to thinking, actually, what do I like doing for fun? So I remember, like, my first week of not drinking, my friend said, oh, I've seen this thing where you go and you take alpacas out in the wild. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I just ended up doing the most random things and just kind of really figuring out, actually, outside of drinking, what do I really like doing?
That's wonderful. And for more information, you can check out SoberGirlSociety.com. Millie's book, Sober Girl Society Handbook, is available now on Amazon. You can also find Millie on social media. Millie, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.